Today we're going to talk about how to pack for spring camping. This is going to be what equipment to use and how to pack it. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning, start with an empty backpack. I would recommend using an Osprey Talon 44 sized rucksack. Now this is a rucksack I've used on many different adventures, from hiking to skiing, or just everyday use. It's just a very versatile backpack, and it has lots of kind of fitting points around, and it has like a opening at the bottom, so if you wanted to get your sleeping bag out easily. It's got lots of just little extra things. It's just a good size if you're going to have one backpack. This one would serve you well. First thing I put in the backpack is my sleeping bag. This is a Mountain Equipment Helium 400, comfort rating of 0. So this one will last you a really good time throughout the year. It'll be good for spring, summer, autumn. Maybe in the winter you might need to step it up a little bit, but if it's going to be wet, I might put an extra dry bag on top of it. But I get this and I shove it into the bottom of my rucksack. When I'm packing, I like to use lots of dry bags. 1, because it keeps your things dry, and 2, because it keeps your bag organized. For my sleeping stuff, I'd use a 4-litre Sea to Summit dry bag, and then I have my Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor. This is a fleeced sleeping bag liner. The reason I use this is 1, it's going to keep me nice and warm, and 2, it's going to keep my sleeping bag nice and clean. So that goes in. I then have the Aeros Pillow Premium Large from Sea to Summit. This just adds a little bit of luxury. In the past, I've used a dry bag, stuffed it with clothes, but I've upgraded. Then I have a little Black Diamond Remoji lantern, which I can hang on the inside of the tent. Now I do take a head torch, but if I'm going to be spending a lot of time in my tent, especially in the darker months, this just adds an extra bit of illumination to my tent. And then I have an eye mask. So that all just gets squished down, clipped up, and put into the bag. I then have my cooker, this is a Jetboil Stash. Now I'm using this at the moment, but I also do love the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 stove set, which I've used on lots of adventures. But this one is super light, does pack down well, has the gas inside, so it's a really good option for camping. So this I then put in. I then use another 4-litre Sea to Summit bag for my food. For my main meals, I tend to take a fire-pot dehydrated meal, depending on how many days I'm taking, depends on how many of them. For my breakfast, I use Quaker oats, a couple of them in the bag. In the evening, I like to have some snacks. Biltong is always good, high in protein, lightweight. I always take some electrolytes, so put them in there. And then I have a little Ziploc bag with a selection of hot chocolate, coffee, and tea. So that all gets wrapped up and put into the bag. I then use a 1-litre Sea to Summit dry bag, and in this I have my hydration. So I use a Sawyer water filter mini, and with this I pair it up with a Hydropack Stow 1-litre, and this connects to that. I fill this with my dirty water to create my clean water. This is only ever used for dirty water to avoid any contamination. So that's put inside. I then have a Hydropack Seeker 3-litre water storage here, which packs down to this tiny little bag. I have 2 carabiners strapped to it. So when I'm close to my campsite, I fill this 3 litres up, strap it onto the back of my backpack, and then carry the water I need to wherever I'm camping. So that all fits nicely into this little backpack, this little dry bag. I then use a 2-litre Sea to Summit dry bag to pack the rest of my camp kitchen. So I have my long handle spoon from Sea to Summit. Now this can either go in here or clip onto the back of your backpack. I prefer things to be stowed away, so that goes in there. I always have, so this is Life Venture all-purpose soap, which is biodegradable, which is a really good thing to make sure that any soaps you're using are good for the environment you're in. I then have a knife. This is just a standard fold-away knife. I use this on all my adventures just in case. And then to add a little bit of luxury to my breakfast, I have this Sea to Summit X Bowl Large, which allows me to have my porridge tastefully in the morning. So that all packs down into this bag. It's packed away. and put inside. For my sleeping mat, I use a Thermarest XLite. I've used other ones like Uberlites, which I find just not rugged enough. The XLite just does the job perfectly. I also take some Tenacious tape just in case I need to mend it. This goes onto one of the side pockets of my rucksack. I use a Nalgene wide mouth 1 litre water bottle. I like this because it's rugged. It really has been through the wars, this bottle, but also in the evening, especially on cold nights, you can fill it with hot water, use it as a hot water bottle. This goes in the other side. For my mug, in winter months, I tend to use a Life Venture thermal mug. This just is a nice way to make sure your hot drink stays hot. And then in the morning, I like to fill it up with a new drink and slide it into the side pocket on the side of my backpack. The inside pocket of my Osprey backpack I use to keep my couple of essentials I don't want getting wet, or I can just stow away. So one is this is a Sherpa 100 PD Goal Zero battery, which it's not the lightest battery. I might recommend taking 2 smaller batteries, then you're not reliant on one, but this is a battery with 25,000 milliamps, so it's going to charge a lot of things. And I also have a Ziploc bag for litter. In the top pocket of the backpack, I store things like, this is an Actic Core head torch, rechargeable battery, which is nice and useful, so I put that in there. I have a first aid kit, which is just a small one I've put together myself. And then I have a trowel if I need to go to the loo, accompanied by a Ziploc bag with loo paper, and that slips in nicely. I have some Life Jacket sun cream to look after my skin, and I have a towel should I want to go swimming. And finally, I have an Osprey backpack waterproof rain cover. This is the ultralight one. It is sold separately, so when you buy the Talon 44 litre backpack, make sure you buy a rain jacket to go with it, so that slops in the top as well. During the day, I like to have easy access to snacks. I love these. These are Chia charge bars. They're really delicious, lots of calories, and they fit perfectly into the little pockets around the waist. And finally, your tent. I use an MSR Hubba Hubba NX. It's an amazing tent. This tent has been so many places with me, and it's not too heavy. It's about 1.76 kilos. If you're 2 of you, you can split that weight. If I'm trekking in the rain, I'll probably put it into a 13 litre dry bag and then just close that up and then have that on the outside of my backpack. So that is what I use for a camping excursion in springtime, maybe when it's potentially going to rain. I hope this has been useful. Remember, if you're camping, get the permission from the landowner or camp in a designated area and be responsible. Try and leave the place you camp as you found it, if not better. If you find any litter lying around, just pick it up and take it with you. Have a great time.